Sell your Bitcoin before crypto crashes again. Our price target for this cycle is... Bitcoin is up big, 40% this month, 120% this year, almost 500% since its cycle lows back in 2022. BlackRock is already in, the halving already happened, Donald Trump already won. The market feels very frothy right now, very euphoric, very... Toppy? Is now the time to sell your Bitcoin before the crypto market crashes again? Smash that like button. Let's talk about it. Listen, I think we all think that Bitcoin is going to go up even just a little bit more going into 2025. 95K, 100K, 110K still on the table, but most people don't realize we've already rallied a lot. Bitcoin has been hot for the past 2 to 3 years. I never want you to be caught off guard in crypto. Subscribing to our channel gives you an edge. So if you want to make money in crypto and stay up to date with our daily videos, make sure you subscribe and look. I know we have a lot of traders who follow us. Trading Bitcoin is a great way to make money in crypto, whether the prices are going up or down. Use either our Bybit affiliate link or MarX affiliate link and take advantage of the promotions. Big bonuses for new users and big traders. I know a lot of people making money trading crypto. Create an account, see for yourself before you sell. Before you sell, watch this. Any of your Bitcoin, you need to see this video. I sent this video to my friends. I posted this on other social medias. The CNBC host says, "Hey, I think Bitcoin's rally looks close to over." VanEck's head of digital asset research says, "Oh, really?" Our price target for this cycle is... I thought, Matt, that it was definitely long in the tooth. This sort of mania, you say there's, at least for your work, that you don't necessarily see that yet in terms of whether it's totally overdone. Joe, we think it's just getting started. As we expected, Bitcoin saw this high volatility pump after the election. We're now in blue sky territory, no technical resistance, and we think we're likely to make repeated all-time highs over the next 2 quarters. The same pattern played out 4 years ago between the election and the end of the year. In 2020, Bitcoin doubled. There were about 6–10% corrections, so it's not going to be a straight line, but we're up 30% so far, and a number of indicators that we track are still flashing green for this rally to continue. This is a state change in terms of government support. Look at this cabinet. The VP, Attorney General, Director of Defense, National Security Advisor, possibly even the Secretary of Treasury being pro-Bitcoin. That's not including Elon and V. So the number of calls that I'm getting inbound from investment advisors who are at 0 and looking to get to 1%, or at 1% and looking to get to 3%, these calls are starting to accelerate, and we think the flows are going to follow. So our price target for this cycle is 180K. We think we can reach that next year. That would be a 3% return from the bottom to the peak this cycle. That's still the smallest Bitcoin cycle by... Did I buy or sell? So was now the time to buy, or is now the time to sell? Well, I'll be honest with you about what I'm doing. I just buy Bitcoin on the Fold app. I bought more. You should buy your Bitcoin with the Fold app. You should buy your Bitcoin with the Fold app. Earn Bitcoin rewards every day. Of course, awesome deals on gift cards, but you should be buying your Bitcoin with the Fold app. I just ordered the Fold card. You should get the Fold card. Scan my QR code or use the link below. Download the Fold app. It's great. Try it. So let's talk about 180,000 Bitcoin price in 2025. How likely do you think a 180,000 Bitcoin price by next year is realistic? I'll tell you, when you listen to this guy, when you listen to the ex-head of digital asset research explain his reasoning, I do start to believe. Google searches are nowhere near where they were 4 years ago. Coinbase's rank in the Apple and Android app stores is nowhere near where it was 4 years ago. Look at the internals of the derivative markets, what it costs for funding to put on Bitcoin futures trades. You know, it's up. But once we get into this price discovery mode, it tends to stay elevated for quite some time. Gary Gensler resigning soon? 4 big price catalysts. Of course, we're all looking forward to this. Gary Gensler seems closer and closer to leaving every day. There are just so many green flags, I guess, coming up that we can look forward to. Think it'll move when Gensler's gone? If he's gone, yeah, I think there's really four major impacts here. One is just the positive impact on dynamism when you stop suing people for breaking rules that have never been written down. That's a long way of saying that regulation by enforcement is going to end. We're already seeing the economic impact of that. There are crypto projects that are announcing that they're going to hold conferences in the US for the first time ever, open offices in the US and New York. It's just great for US jobs and GDP. Right, we've got the Bitcoin reserve that would legitimize this asset as a reserve asset, pave the way for it to be used as a global settlement currency, as the BRICS countries have been doing, President Trump recognizes the synergies between Bitcoin and AI. They are two sides of the same coin. If you want to have cheap AI, you're going to want to combine it with Bitcoin mining to take advantage of that cheap power. Industry Insider reveals his 2025 outlook. And really, it takes an industry insider like this guy, Fred Thiel, CEO of Marathon, one of the US's largest Bitcoin mining companies. It takes an industry insider to really know what's actually going on. See, I put opinions like his above so many others because he and his company, they're living it. They are the crypto talent that the US hopes to keep in the US. They are the crypto talent the US hopes to attract to the US. So listen very carefully on why he's so bullish. If what he says comes true, I'll tell you, I do think Bitcoin hits 180,000 by next year. I'm very bullish for what this next administration means for us. And for the rest of the miners, the crypto industry had a sweep essentially in their candidates, which was very successful. As I look at policy, President-elect Trump was very adamant at the Nashville conference earlier this year about supporting Bitcoin. We're already seeing some of that in his appointees, all very pro-crypto, all very pro-Bitcoin. So I expect we will see movement in the Senate on Senator Lummis's bill around the strategic reserve, which at the end of the day, 2 million Bitcoin held by the US government will have a substantial impact on the price of Bitcoin. So that's driving this price bump. Also, we're seeing a lot of positivity around banks being able to potentially custody and collateralize Bitcoin. This development suddenly means you're opening up Bitcoin as an asset class to the $200 trillion of investors that exist out there. And, just a small, tiny fractional allocation of a percent to Bitcoin, because of the fact that it's finite, will drive a huge impact on the price. Is the stock market bullish or bearish? And then even speaking about traditional markets, because there are a lot bigger markets out there than just Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an emerging market exploding with growth, but let's talk about traditional markets. Let's talk about the stock market. Analysts are moving their goalposts. Analysts are actually saying, we were wrong, we should be more bullish. They say, animal spirits are in the air. This is incredibly interesting, especially what he says at the end. Let's bring in Ed Yardeni, president of Yardeni Research. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you, Scott. So you think the goalposts really have moved, huh? I do. I think that, John Maynard Keynes came up with the expression animal spirits. Spirits, and the idea is spontaneous optimism, and we did see that in 2016 when Trump was elected. And Trump 1.0, I think we're seeing again in Trump 2.0. I think the markets are excited about tax cuts for corporations as well as for lower income Americans. So that'll help the consumer sector. I think there's excitement about regulation, and I think there's even an expectation that some of these geopolitical crises might end sooner rather than later with Trump's diplomatic intervention. So you put that all together and you get a very upbeat scenario. But I was pretty upbeat about things before Trump was elected, because I think we're also seeing a significant rebound in productivity growth, and That's really driving the economy to a large extent over the rest of the decade. I feel like before you, no, on the euphoria scale, if you will, you were almost at a 9, like feeling like it was getting a little bit out of hand. So, has the prospects of what this new administration could bring brought that meter down at this point? Because it certainly feels post-election like it's a bit euphoric, and I'm not the one who's used that word, including Nelson Peltz today. Yeah, I've talked about the possibility of a melt-up scenario. I mean, I keep talking about the roaring 2020s, but I give that a 55% probability. I would say 25% to a melt-up, too much of a good thing. I think the Fed's making a mistake here, lowering interest rates and stimulating an economy that's already doing quite well. And that could very well spill over into the stock market. Create a melt-up. I mean, look, valuation multiples, everybody agrees, are stretched. However, we've had this terrible recession for the past 3 years that just didn't happen. The most widely anticipated recession of all times didn't happen. It was reasonable to think it might with the Fed raising interest rates the way they did. But if we didn't have a recession the past 3 years, why should we have one over the rest of the decade? And the longer out you can see the economy growing, the higher valuations people are willing to pay. So that's what we're in right now. But yeah, I wouldn't dismiss the possibility of a melt-up. Sell your Bitcoin before crypto crashes again. So, is now the time to sell your Bitcoin before the crypto market crashes again? Listen, you do you. We don't give financial advice on this channel, just info and opinion. And even in bull markets, it is very common in Bitcoin crypto bull markets to see 10, 20, 30%, even 40% dips in bull markets. So I can only tell you what I'm doing for me. I'm not selling yet, I bought some more. If you look back at Bitcoin's price history, every single time Bitcoin has clearly cleared previous cycles' all-time highs. If history is any indication, the next 6 to 12 months might be crypto's best. See you tomorrow.